You fuck with Big Brother, you get skirt. You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck he said. Big Blue told me something I can't hear. You already know what the fuck time it is. Turn out and tune in. What's going on, everybody? It's your motherfucking boy Big Bad, and this is the Real Talk, Real Shit podcast. On today's episode is extremely important. As always, I always say the same shit. You already know what time it is. But big shout out to my boy Trey 57 Productions. Appreciate you, my brother. Keep me on my toes and keep me going, keep me motivated, as well as a whole lot of other people. But Trey 5, I appreciate you so much, bro. You've been rocking with me since almost the beginning of my YouTube career, bro. So I appreciate that. I fuck with your shit too. I always watch all your videos, and everybody I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna stop. But anyway, so I like this. He asked me in my comment section on my last video, one of my last videos, to discuss or to touch on the origins of humanity. All right, so if you do your research, or just do your history on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for you. On this planet, there was recorded humans. Was it Dank Ness or the Lucy bones were probably the oldest recorded bones, humanoid bones on this planet. And I think it's like 3.1 billion years ago, or almost 3 billion years ago. Okay. And that's by carbon dating and all that on the bones. Okay. So that's how they proved that. And that was in Africa. She's in Africa. Ethiopia. All right. And Ethiopia, as everybody says, the birthplace of humanity. But that's not where humans come from, okay? We're going to break it down. If you look at the early civilizations, okay, say like ancient Egypt, for instance, they were one of the first. You had Babylonians and Mesopotamians, all that shit, but you had the Babylonians and all that. But you had the ancient Egyptians, who were like one of the first highly documented civilizations on this planet, okay? And all they talk about is the stars and moons and constellations and all that. Now, if you look at the three pyramids, right? The three pyramids of Giza. They're all lined up with certain constellations. They're all perfectly lined up with these constellation stars. And if you look it up, you got okay. For one, you know the Sphinx statue. All right, you got the statue of the Sphinx who got his nose blown off and all that shit. Napoleon Bonaparte's bitch ass shot his nose off back in the day because they didn't want everybody to know that all the Egyptians were black, so they were going around the whole Egypt destroying noses off statues, and you could look this up for yourself. They were destroying noses off statues and discoloring the statues and painting the pictures differently to paint a different picture that the Egyptians weren't black, which that's fucked up to even do, all right? Because there's no way that Caucasian people could even survive in Egypt or in Africa. That's why could not even have been there in the beginning, because they wouldn't have survived. They would have their skin would have boiled in the sun with melanomas and cancers and all that dumb shit. So there's no way that that could even be true. But you know, the historians always lie and repaint history and all that shit. So that's why we're gonna get to the real story. We're going to get to the real history. We're going to get to the real truth. All right. So you got the Sphinx statue in Egypt. If you look it up. There's got the same Sphinx statue and the same three pyramids of Giza on Mars. Okay. That's where we come from. That's where the ancient Egyptians come from, or the original high societies come from. The original high societies, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, all of them. Those are descendants of the Martian people. All right, now if you do your history, they said back in the days, not back in the days, when the three pyramids of Giza came down and landed on Earth. That's why they can't explain how they were built. That's why the stupid, idiotic scientists always try to make sense of how they were built. Oh, they put these 3-ton stones or 2-ton stones on their back or on fucking sticks, and man, they can't even build that shit nowadays with the technology that they have now. So how the fuck you think they built that back in the day when they didn't have technology? Those were not built by man. Those are spaceships. Those were ships that could go through space and time and all that. So, and if you look at history, they say the original man in Africa and stuff, they seen, now I'm gonna break this shit all the way down. They seen the they seen pyramids coming out, the 3 spaceships coming out the sky, and they said they were shooting blood out of them. Okay, you gotta think about this. Primitive times, they didn't have fire and all that stuff back in those days. So what would you associate fire with? You must associate blood coming out the back of that shit, out the sky, with shooting out blood. That's probably was their old time association with the fire, you know, because they didn't know fire back in those days. So anyway, and then when they landed, those 3 pyramids landed, they hit in those lush greenlands and blew it the fuck up. That's why it's desert now. What is a desert? A desert is burnt, crystallized, burnt material, natural material that's been crystallized, like burnt into like a glass type of state. So simple science would tell you when those pyramids come out the sky and hit the ground, they blew everything to shit and turned it into desert. The fire, they burnt it. That's why all of that area, Egypt, all that, the Middle East, all that shit, it has a lot of desert in it because that was the landing site. Okay, now when those spaceships landed, they came down and they met up with modern man, because there was always a man here. Like there was always a hominid man here. Like I just believe it was like a more primitive man. Now you got to think about it like this. God made everything on this earth for a purpose. The bees are and pollinate the flowers and spread the seeds. The animals were here to till the land, and the cows are here to graze, and the buffaloes were here to graze and keep the grass cut, even though we destroyed them, killed them, and made lawnmowers. The chickens are here to graze and pick the grains off the earth and shit, maybe for us to eat or whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but the chickens were everything on this earth has a purpose to keep the world in balance, in rotation. Now, man got dominion back in the day, you know, because when those higher beings came out of the pyramids, they would teach man different. They would, for one, they bred with man, and then they would teach man their ways. All right, so they made it with man, those alien Egyptian people, you know, because they weren't regular humans, because they're interdimensional beings. That's why there's certain star children out here on this earth, and then you have the regular mud men of the earth. And by that I mean you have like original man, the people who are the descendants of original man, who just have a basic existence and don't understand too much of anything, because they were just the tillers of land. Like man was the original, was made to be the tiller of land too, like to lift things and plow and do things. Like we're the original man, the mud man, the man who was made out of the Nile dirt, was just a worker, just to be a worker for earth. Okay, because let me keep going. You got the higher society being people, the interdimensional being people, the Egyptians. These are freaking alien type people. And like I said, they came down, they made it with the beautiful women of Earth, and they seen all the resources here on Earth, because what do the Egyptians value? Jewels and gold. And the reason that they value them, and the reason the aliens and Egyptians value jewels and gold and diamonds and stuff like that, is because there's spiritual properties. There's energy properties to these things. Gold has energy, diamonds, all the minerals, quartz stones, all of the crystals have energy properties to them. So they come from there. They zap Mars dry. Just like the people of this earth are almost zapped Earth dry. They zapped Mars dry to a point where it was unlivable. So they had to find another livable planet. Just think about what I just said. What are scientists and space people doing right now to this day? Trying to find a new livable planet. So what the fuck makes you think the higher society, the interdimensional beings of the past weren't trying to do that once they zapped the planet dry? Okay, now let's keep going, because I'm trying to make y'all understand. So okay, now let's keep going. They came here. They're teaching the humans how to mine for them. First off, they blended with them and made it with their women and bred into the society to control it. Because think about it, if you're an alien father and then you got a wife who is a human, you got a son who's an alien human hybrid. Now he has the father's will in him. So he can do the father's will, and then every child after him will do the father's will because they're the descendant of the father. So you got to know that's how people do, is try to breed in and breed out and breed what they want out of into society. So they did that. They taught us how to mine. They taught us how to work for them. And humans, the descendants of, like, I believe I'm one of those hybrid descendants of the Egyptian people who were bred in with humans, because my understanding, I can't even tell you why I know this shit, you know what I'm saying, other than learning and studying. But a majority of the things that I know, I just know from my heart, and from it come down into me. So, all right, now let's keep going. They had the humans doing all these things and breeding into the society and all that. Then we got all these secret societies that were born. And these groups and secret groups that were born and stuff like that, because you got to keep these things kind of secret, because you can't just have things going. You can't have everything exposed, or else everybody wouldn't stay in position. You know what I'm saying? So they created the things, those alien beings created things like religion. They created things like time constructs. They created the mathematics system that we're under. They created all of the systems that we're under now that control us. You know, and now we're just under that alien, human, demonic type of rule. Now, I'm not saying the ancient Egyptians were demonic beings, but think about it, for a alien who has 20 times more power and intellect than a human, he's not going to have any mercy for you. He's not going to have no mercy for you, because he's looking down on you. He's looking past you and through you. You get what I'm saying? So now we're all under alien demonic rule. It's probably a different set of interdimensional beings who rule the earth now. It's probably like the lizard demon type, the baby eater type. That's why we all have babies in the food and stuff like that now, you know. And different things like that. Like we're in we're in like a human flesh trafficking cesspool type of lifestyle now. And that's because the demons that run this world are the flesh eaters. They're the flesh dwellers. You know, the flesh, they need the flesh. All right. So another thing I wanted to talk about is lifespan. My boy Trey 5 asked me to talk about, Trey 5 Productions asked me to talk about lifespan. Like why people die and all that. Now, when we first came down to Earth, humans had, or those beings had They could live for hundreds of years. They could live for a long, long period of time. And this is because when you truly understand how to treat the body and how to care for the body, when your intellect is up high, you could prolong the body. If you do everything right, you could prolong the body for a long time, even human beings, even us on this earth. So think about good technology and good healthcare and good diet from a supernatural standpoint. You could live for hundreds of years if you did it right. So that's what I'm saying. Those people live forever, but then the will of man got tainted, and when we got our free will, humans are shitty. You get what I'm saying? Humans have run this world into shit, just like they run all the past worlds into shit, and that's why they go from place to place to place shitting, and just humans are like fucking parasites, to be honest with you. The human race acts like parasites because they just come, they breed, they shit, and they just destroy the land. They don't give back to it because we're not living in a natural state no more. So we don't give back to the land. We just take from it until it has nothing left to give us, and then we move on to the next place. And we take from that until it has nothing to give and move on to the next. Instead, you could live the natural way and you could give to the earth so it can give back and continue to give to you and continue to provide for you so you can live. But we're so stripped from natural order, man. We're so stripped from the original orders of life and humanity. I don't know if we'll ever get back to that shit, you know. But there you have it. I know I took you to a whole new stratosphere, but that's it. Religions are fake. They're just to control you. Governments are fake. They're just to control you. It's just all bullshit. The only thing on this earth is we're put here to mine and till and work. We're basically like the ants of the outside earth. You got ants that run the inside. We're the ants on the outside. We're just bigger and more useful. Well, more different because we were created in the image of our Father, the image of the interdimensional beings. Unless you're the original mud man. And then you know who the original mud man is. They're the original man. You could tell they're the one who were born out of the Nile mud from Khnemu, the molder. These alien beings literally took dirt and made humans out of it. You know, so that's another reason how you know a black man was the original man on this earth when they were made by the molder. I mean, I can, man, y'all better go ahead and stop playing with me. We could take this shit. I can tell you where races come from, different creeds and races. For one, environmental differences. When Pangea had split up and all the continents divided, then you had different environments, different temperatures, different climates. So that changed the effects of some people. But then you had those alien races who took people up into the mountains and created all the different species, religions, races and stuff like Chinese and Caucasians, and all these different species were genetically modified from the original man to try to get different effects. They were playing with humanity, trying to make the right human to be the right worker. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just simple science, man. We're doing it now. They're doing it now in the labs right now. They're taking genetics. You could give your sperm cell and they would make a baby with that shit. So stop fucking being stupid. You go donate sperm, you jack off in that cup, they're going to make babies with that shit. How do you think they was doing it back in the day? The same way. Ain't nothing new under the sun, man. The same interdimensional beings are running this earth that have always run this earth, or maybe it's a different group, but it's just we're run by an interdimensional group of beings. That's why we're got all these tricks and shit to confuse us and, confuse y'all. So I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about. If not, I hope you could understand this one day. But it's your motherfucking boy, Big Bad. That's where humans come from. That's it. We can go as deep as you want to go. We can go as high as you want to go. But that's it right there. You know what I mean? Ask your top scientist. Ask your top doctor. Share this video. Show me some love. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thank y'all so much.